3, 2, 1.
You know what I feel like doing?
What?
I feel like kicking back, relaxing, getting comfy. Welcome to the Get Comfy podcast. I'm your host, Kalo, as always, here to give you the lowdown, and I'm joined by my co-hosts.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
Hello, people. How you doing?
I like that intro for a second.
Yeah, so for this introduction, I was trying to figure out how to spruce it up a little bit to base it around what we're talking about today. So, you know how I go, it's time to kick back, relax, get comfy.
Considering I literally just started screaming before we recorded this.
Yeah. So when I go get comfy, I was going to go get comf, hee. So if that's a little hint to what we're talking about. Yeah, I can't get that voice high enough. Yeah, there we go. So we're going to be talking today about the recent HBO? Mm-hmm. HBO documentary called Leaving Neverland.
Yep.
And if for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a documentary based around two kids who
are now adult males.
Yeah, who are now adults. And their experience at the Neverland Ranch, who was owned by Michael Jackson, the king of pop. Now, this documentary was met with a lot of backlash because, one, it exposed a lot of information that was not, I guess, previously known in the world. But I mean, like, pretty much everyone got the hint about it. And it involved the two kids that were at the ranch with Michael Jackson himself. And weren't these the two kids that testified on the jury about, like, if he was innocent or not?
Well, I just started this, so I'm done with...
Isn't there two parts, right?
There's two parts.
Yeah.
And I'm finishing part one. I think I have like a half hour left.
Okay.
What?
That's fine because...
Based by what they're saying is that they loved him.
Yeah.
That one kid went on tour with him.
Yeah.
The thing is, okay, this is the thing that's really pissing me off. And come at me.
Yeah.
I don't care. Have controversy on me. I don't give a shit. Half you people don't even know what the fuck I look like. But
what the fuck I look like?
But here's the thing. This guy who was, everybody loved him. Everyone worshipped him. He was the king of pop. He's been dead for what? 9-10 years?
Mm-hmm.
Let him rest. This is the thing, and you vouch for it because you were in this conversation.
Yeah.
It's all about the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
I'm all for, like, hey, it takes a lot for someone who was sexually assaulted or even worse to actually admit that this happened.
Yeah.
But the thing is, because of this movement, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It brings out a lot in people. The problem with this movement is now it's going too far.
People are securing their bags pretty much.
It really is. It's going too far.
Honestly.
For stuff like this, like Bill Cosby at 73, the poor man is in jail now.
For the rest of his life. And like, you know...
And what happened with him was like 30-something years ago.
There's that whole thing with R. Kelly right now. I mean, you've seen how distraught he was on that
interview. And
interview.
supposedly he was 14 when it happened.
And you heard about all this stuff with R. Kelly and like how distraught he was on that CBS interview. I mean, he was saying he was fighting for his fucking life. Now,
he is.
Again...
How would you feel if a girl accused you of sexually assaulting her?
Yeah.
And wouldn't you be crying in the interview fighting for your life?
Yeah, and I know that, you know, with all this being said, innocent until proven guilty, that whole thing, you know, I'm not going to take a side on this because, one, it's just, you know, this didn't come out at a time where Michael Jackson could come out and defend himself or offer a retort. Now, from what I understand, I haven't watched the documentary yet, but I've heard...
It's really good.
I've heard a lot of things about it. People say it's kind of hard to watch because, one, if you're a Michael Jackson fan and you hear this stuff, you know, it's tough. And I think that we all love one or two Michael Jackson songs in our life.
Look, I love Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
But it's the basis. The thing that got me to watch it is that this man is dead.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden this comes out.
Yeah, and I think that...
Nobody can learn... Like, David Bowie had something against him. He's been dead for a couple years.
Yeah.
Listen, he was well known as alive. If it happened when he was alive, fine. Everything was resolved when he's alive. Now, this entire thing... Granted, something could have happened to these men.
Yeah.
So I'm not, like, blaming them for anything, but...
It's just like, why now?
Yeah, why now? He's dead. Let the man rest.
And the trial for when he was, like, convicted of pedophilia... The two kids that were in this documentary, or the two men now, I'm going to call them kids. The two men that were in the documentary, they were like I think in their late teens, early 20s, something
Yep.
like that. So they weren't like young to say that they were scared to do it. Again, I'm not saying like they were scared, they weren't scared
Yeah.
or anything like that. It's a big deal, especially on that big type of like stage. A lot of people are watching you, stuff like this. Some people are not comfortable with sharing stories like
Not
this.
only that, in court testifying, because he's a celebrity.
He's Michael Jackson.
He's Michael fucking Jackson.
Yeah.
He's the king of pop. And knowing that all of it's going to be all over the news, of course these boys would be scared.
Did you know, and like this is totally off basis, but did you know Michael Jackson owned Happy Birthday? And that's why you weren't able to sing it in a restaurant. That's why you had to sing like the off-brand, like Happy Birthday.
Really?
Yeah. He owned the rights to Happy Birthday. Like, ultimate power move right there.
Well,
Ultimate power move. Like, if I was able, like right now, to go out and buy the Happy Birthday song, I would literally make it my point to like drop the podcast and go around the world, like walking into random restaurants and be like, "You singing Happy Birthday? Not today. $500." Like, that's a song. Like, that's just not like some random like Cardi B or whatever songs. Like, that's fucking Happy Birthday. You can sue anybody at that point. But to get back to this whole topic about leaving Neverland, there's a lot of things that were released in this documentary that were kind of off-putting and like don't really help Michael Jackson's case either. I mean, granted, he's dead, so he can't defend himself.
Yeah.
But there was a whole
and then it's
thing.
brought on his kids.
Yeah, and there was this thing where they said that in his hallway leading up to his bedroom, he had like a doorbell thing to go off to tell if someone was coming to his room, which is where the little boys were. Grant you, no one really knows if that's true. I mean, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but like, it just doesn't help. It doesn't help
No.
his side at all. Because it's like, why would you have that? Why would anybody in their right mind would have that? Grant you, thinking about it, he's the most famous person.
Absolutely.
Like, when you think of famous, Michael Jackson is pretty much up there. No matter who you are, if you don't like music, if you don't like anything, you know Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson is still known no matter what music or anything.
Yeah, and with that being said, he could have had that in case someone tried to enter his house, rob his stuff, and he was sleeping maybe.
Right.
Or there's so many possibilities, but for this to arise now, when he's dead, when he's not able to defend himself, and I think it was his father or something that got on or did an interview where he's like, it's not right. Like, it's why would you do this now? And they did that they're doing it with Ted Bundy. They
Yeah.
did that whole like or not the interview, the Netflix documentary. They're glorifying this stuff and they're bringing it up now.
Yeah, it was his tapes. It was
Yeah.
Ted Bundy's actual tapes. So this is all stuff he said.
Yeah.
So it's proof that he did this.
Yeah.
But it's the investigators giving like everything that they collected, catching him, all the victims. A lot of victims weren't named.
Yeah.
A lot of them were not named, and he had over 30.
Yeah, and we all know Michael Jackson. We know that, maybe he wasn't all there. I mean, he full disclosure, I think he was kind of creepy the way he he had the plastic surgery, he bleached his skin, like the way he talked. But again, he was chemically castrated.
But
I heard
another thing, don't forget.
he didn't have a childhood.
Exactly.
He didn't have a childhood. He was robbed of it.
He was been doing music since the Jackson 5, and he was what, like 10
Something
years
around there.
old. So the childhood he wanted, he couldn't have. Think about it. If you watched the documentary, or if anyone here has actually watched the documentary,
Yeah.
look at it this way. You see why some of these stars or any celebrity goes crazy, especially if they were a child actor.
It's all the child stars.
They don't have a childhood. They don't know what it's like to be a normal kid. They don't
Yeah.
know what it's like to go to an amusement park without getting noticed. You see that everything in the property of the Neverland Ranch is based on kid stuff. Pool table, roller coaster, amusement park in the backyard,
Yeah.
movie theater. Michael Jackson couldn't do any of this because no matter what, he'd get recognized.
Yeah, he wasn't
Like
allowed
you
to go
see,
leave
too,
his house.
When he was leaving to like tour, the security guards couldn't hold back the fans because they're so crazed.
I heard that there's like a video of him. He like rented out a grocery store, and he took everyone out of it, and he like put actors in the grocery store to like pretend they were shopping. And he would walk around the store as if he was shopping himself to give him that experience of going to the grocery store, shopping for himself. And like, that's something normal people don't do. Like, it just shows you the star power he has. And
It's not only that, it
how
shows-
much he was robbed of all that basic like human stuff that we just do. Like, I come out here to do the podcast. After this, I go to the gym. I go do this. I do that. And like, that's what normal people do. And Michael Jackson, if he was doing this, he wouldn't be able to do any of this. There would
It's
be
not
people
only-
mobbing everywhere he
It's
goes.
not only Michael Jackson, it's any celebrity.
Yeah.
Your life is literally in the public eye.
Oh, yeah.
Anything happens, someone's going to take a picture.
Yeah.
Like, say, okay, I'm just bringing them up.
Yeah.
The Kardashians go out.
Yeah. Megastars.
Absolutely. Their kids aren't even safe. Their kids can't even do anything.
Their kids were criticized for their names, like Stormy and then
Yeah.
Northwest, was it?
North, Saint, Chicago.
Yeah, it's like like grown adults were criticizing their names.
Right.
But to get back to this Michael Jackson thing, you know, it comes at a weird time. I think that's what basically the highlight of it is.
If he was alive, it would be completely different.
Yeah, so, you know, trying to figure this all out.
I do agree that this is all because of the Me Too movement. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but it could lead to something bad.
Yeah. And, you know, that just goes without saying. You know, it should be known, like, if you were hurt in any way, shape, or form, if you were abused or anything, it's good to get the word out there. Like, it's good, like, you're strong, like, your voice should be heard. But when it comes to this, as far as, like, tearing down people when they're dead, like, they're not here anymore. And I get that you want to get your story out there because some of these people live their lives and, like, you don't even know what happens to them. Like, you don't really know someone's true story. Like, you only see what they let you see. And, like, again, if it happened to you, like, get your story out there. But there is a time and a place to do this. And, you know, you got to really think about not only your implications when you say something, but whenever, like, what comes after it. You know what I mean?
Another thing, too, if you think about it, because Michael Jackson is dead and any celebrity that's happened to it that have passed away,
Yeah.
and all of this stuff is coming out now, that there's no two sides at this point.
No, it's only
because
one.
they're dead. You're not getting their side, even
Yeah.
though they're the ones getting backlash. His kids can't defend him because they probably don't know half of this stuff happened.
The kids were, like, totally treated
I don't
differently.
even think the kids were born when this happened.
Might have, because I know...
Maybe.
doesn't he have-
1990. Maybe.
He has a daughter,
He has a
think,
daughter
our
and
age.
2 sons.
He has a daughter, I think, my age or something like that.
He has a daughter and 2 sons.
Yeah, and, like, those kids were treated so differently because
Yeah.
of their father. And not saying, like, oh, it's to blame, but, like,
Yeah.
they're Michael Jackson's kids. They're famous. They're automatically, like, you're thrust into that spotlight.
Yeah, but like I was saying, too, it's like, you're only getting those 2 guys' side now.
Yeah.
You're getting what they witnessed, what they went through. There's no one that can defend Michael at this point.
Yeah.
Because it was just him and those 2 men.
Yeah.
Well, at the time were boys. They're men. They're grown men now. But one of them said that they loved him.
Yeah. I mean...
And I feel like by what they were saying in the documentary, I could be absolutely wrong.
yeah. And
But because of the documentary, it makes it seem like that everything was consensual.
yeah, and at that point, they were so young, you don't really know what love is at
Yeah.
that point.
Disclaimer too, I could be 100% wrong. This is what I'm getting from watching
yeah,
everything.
this is all self-interpretation.
Like, I'm not professional at law
Yeah.
or laws in general. Like, this is what I'm getting from it. Like, everything could have been
Yeah.
consensual. They were 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
No one knows what love is. Like, oh, my mom hugs me. That's love.
Yeah, it's at this point, like, it's all just, this is all our opinions, like, whatever, don't take it for gospel. But, you know, some of this I feel, and, like, I'm not saying Michael Jackson isn't wrong in this situation, but I also kind of blame the parents of these kids.
Oh, absolutely.
Why would you let your kids of 12 years old or however old, why would you let them go to this man's house by themselves? And why would you let him drive a wedge between you and then take them on tour with, like, him and just leave them unsupervised with
You
an
know
adult
why?
man?
You know why? Because it's Michael Jackson.
Yeah, like I get that.
They didn't think anything of it. Oh my God, my kid's great at dancing. Michael Jackson wants him to go on tour with him.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
That's
It's
the
Michael
thing.
Jackson.
That's the thing, but like.
And they could say that, oh, their kids were friends and went on tour with Michael Jackson.
Yeah, but once this stuff started coming out, like when it first started, I would have pulled the plug like right away and like done something about it as a parent. But
Like one of the mothers said that they would go up to the door very sneakily and listen to what they're talking about. One kid was on the phone with him for like 6-7 hours.
yeah, it's insane. Like as a parent, you should know like what you're doing, what your kid is doing. Especially like nowadays, we had that Momo challenge thing that just came about.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in another podcast.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? I think about does it here for the Get Comfy podcast. I hope you all enjoyed. Remember, we upload here on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, the whole shebang every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. And if you like what we do here, go check out the Get Comfy Game Break hosted by myself and Niam from here, the Get Comfy podcast. Say what's up.
Yep. What's up, guys?
Every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Again, whole thing. We're going to be uploading on all major listening platforms. But you know what? We will see you guys next time.
Peace.